It's Wednesday night in the ACC as we welcome you to Atlanta for a conference clash inside O'Keefe Gymnasium as the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets play host to the Clemson Tigers. Awesome midweek atmosphere for an ACC battle. Hi, everybody. Alongside the two-time Olympic medalist, Courtney Thompson, I'm Jay Alter. Courtney, you take a look at these two teams. Georgia Tech, one of the best teams in the country at the top of the ACC. They're the clear favorites. If you're Clemson coming in, underdogs on the road, how do you pull the upset?
Oh, man, underdogs on the road, you really got to be aggressive and just go for it. They're going to look to be aggressive from the service line, knock Georgia Tech off the net so their offense becomes a little more one-dimensional, and hopefully they get some off-speed shots that they can take advantage of.
If you're the Tigers, who has to step up and set the tone tonight?
Really looking for Cameron Hanna to step up tonight. She's one of the more physical athletes that Clemson has on their team. She's got a really high upside, and the coaching staff is hoping that she continues to be more consistent throughout and just show up at a high level every night.
And for Georgia Tech, it's no secret who sets the tone. Julia Bergmann, one of the best in the entire nation.
She is an incredible volleyball player and one of those just all-around athletes on the team. And I first was fortunate to see her play for Team Brazil at the VNL. And what stood out to me is something you see in all of the greats is they just have this sense of the game, this feel for the game, and she makes all of her teammates around her better. A really fun athlete to watch.
What a weapon for Michelle Collier, year number 9 as head coach of Georgia Tech. She has taken this program to a new height seemingly every single year. She's been there coming off that Elite 8 regional final a year ago, and that came with a lot of pressure for this year's team, and they've responded well. Number 11 in the country right now, and they have their sets set on another NCAA tournament run.
This team has high expectations, and one of the things they're looking to do is really find their own voice, kind of get away from the trap of comparing themselves to last year's teams and redefine what are they all about this season, and these kind of matches are where it gets done.
So you're seeing the results of what a rebuild can look like in the ACC over on the Clemson sideline for Jackie Simpson-Kerr, still at the infancy of the rebuild. Year number 2, coming off a great performance, though, against Virginia. Always good to win in the ACC. Coach Simpson-Kerr said that was their best performance of the season in that 4-set win over the weekend. Hopefully can bring that some of that momentum to Atlanta tonight.
There's so many up-and-coming teams in the ACC. It's getting really exciting. And part of the evolution of that when you're trying to break through to kind of that next tier is how can we tap into that greatness, that consistency a little bit more often?
Clemson set to serve in orange. Georgia Tech in pink tonight for Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. It'll actually be the home team Yellow Jackets that get us started on serve. Bianca Bertolino gets us underway. Georgia Tech coming off a hard-fought battle against Pittsburgh over the weekend. That was a top 10 matchup on Sunday, lost 3-1 to Pitt, but they only dropped to number 11, so still knocking on the door of one of the best teams in the country. Let's see how they respond at home against Clemson.
Always interesting coming off of playing another powerhouse team. There's so much of being one of the best in the country is having the standard that you're going to hit every single night, regardless of where you play, who you play. One thing Georgia Tech will be looking to do.
And no surprise, they go to Bergmann, who executes a side out. Goes long, sailed on Bergmann, but they give the point to Georgia Tech. Got a touch at the net. Clemson can't believe it. They were celebrating like they had won that point early on.
Both sides working hard early, fighting and scrapping. Always tough as a blocker. There's a little more adrenaline, cortisol in the beginning of the match. You're trying to get over,
yeah.
Just a little too eager.
Big swing from Kate Long, handled well by Georgia Tech. Great opportunity for Clemson, blocked at the net. Tigers reload. Beautifully executed, Cameron Hanna pulled out a tip at the right time to score.
Cameron Hanna showing off her range early here on the opposite. Clemson isn't afraid to move her around. You'll see her attack from the middle, sometimes the left side, and right now the right.
Clemson's coaching staff told us before the game that Cameron Hanna is coming off her best performance in a Clemson uniform in her 3 years with the Tigers. Now just looking to gain some consistency against one of the top teams in the country in Georgia Tech. Right back to Hanna. Great dig, Devin Taylor, to do that against Julia Bergmann, one of the best kill getters in the game. Bergmann reloads and this time delivers.
It's heating up early. Already going, Julia Bergmann showing off her range here. She goes inside the block and then the next swing sees a little bit of a gap. This is why she's one of the best players in the country. There's so much range. If you make an adjustment as a blocker, she's gonna see it.
Now the Yellow Jackets get some momentum through the serve. Tomorrow, 10A. Two excellent serves. Bergmann left no doubt on that one.
This is the response the coaching staff for Georgia Tech was hoping. You're gonna serve aggressively, and then when you get an overpass, you take advantage. Those plays look easier than they are. It takes pretty good discipline to wait.
Clemson unsettled on the serve receive. It's led to a string of Georgia Tech points.
Erin Moss, just such a force of the net, reads this early, and then does what she does best and just gets over, crushing dreams here in set one.
Timeout Clemson, Georgia Tech on a 5-0 run. And for the Sunday best in the ACC volleyball doubleheader, Virginia Tech gets things started against Notre Dame in South Bend at 1 Eastern, and then it's North Carolina taking on Syracuse. Both matches right here on the ACC Network. Courtney Thompson, Jay Alter with you. Julia Bergmann, the leading killer in the ACC, has gotten Georgia Tech off to a terrific start. That's now 6 straight for the Yellow Jackets, Courtney.
And one of the challenges when you're down and you're the underdog coming in is you're trying to make something out of nothing. It's always a balance of when to take the risk and go for it and when to just keep it in.
Another risk goes right into the block.
Georgia Tech scouting Clemson in a real way. Cameron Hanna again moving to the middle on this ball, and Georgia Tech blockers were waiting for Erin Moss running it up at the net so far.
A 7 straight point streak goes begging after that. Serve goes long. And now if you're Clemson on the road, set one, Courtney, you want a response right now before this one gets away from you.
You really do, and it's all about just getting back to good. Can we just get in this play, this moment, one at a time? If you start thinking about how many points you got to beat to come back and win this set against Georgia Tech, it can feel a bit overwhelming.
Now they force Bergmann into an error, a rare one. That leads the ACC in kills per set, reigning ACC Player of the Year. What makes her so special when you turn on the tape?
You know, she's efficient in all of her skills. She's good at, I mean, the other night, the setter dug and she stepped in and just this beautiful cross-court set. It would be hard for even a setter. But more than that, it's really just the feel that she has for the game and the way that she engages in each play, it just makes those around her better.
And now the senior Bergmann on serve. They go to the back row, Bergmann, and it's in.
That doesn't hurt either.
Wow. Julia Bergmann unloads from the back row, a beauty.
So much readiness to prepare for that before the play. She's always ready, always involved. Such a strong arm.
An All-American a year ago, ACC Player of the Year. She is well on her way to earning that title again. But Courtney, you mentioned you've seen her play at the international game, and Georgia Tech style really lends itself to international play, and it's really helped Bergmann come alive and get better and better.
Yeah, we were at Serve and Pass this morning, and I couldn't stop telling you, Jay, like, the way that they compete is just so fun. And the culture in this gym is really about developing good overall players. Less specificity and just, hey, let's all understand the game at a really high level, and it's modeled from their coaching staff. It's really special what Michelle Collier has created here at Georgia Tech. Made me want to get out there.
Kept alive. Best rally of the match so far. Sent in, Erin Moss.
Great work by Erin Moss in transition to keep working, getting off the net, so she's available to do this. That's really tough for a middle blocker in transition. Nice job. Isabella D'Amico doing a great job early, trying to mix it up, establish that middle attack. You know, the game is won and lost to the pins, but what opens up those pins to be able to have some space is when you mix up the offense, get the middles involved early.
Bergmann stays on serve. And Clemson burns their second timeout. That's their last one of this opening set. Georgia Tech jumped out to that early 9-2 lead, and they've kept their foot on the gas. This is a team that, again, now they're the hunted instead of the hunter after their huge success a year ago, making the Elite Eight. They get the highest preseason ranking in school history, number 5. They get to play at McCamish Pavilion on Sunday. First team to play on the brand new court. Played on ESPN for the first time as this sport continues to explode earlier this month. And it helps when you have one of the best scorers in the entire country in Julia Bergmann.
It really does, and this team is, for them, it's really an opportunity to have all these new chances to become the team they want to be, really break into that top 5 consistently. And at the worst case, I think it's become threatening, or like, oh man, this is a lot of pressure. So that balance is something they're looking to find.
We were speaking with this Georgia Tech coaching staff. Michelle Collier does a terrific job here for Georgia Tech. She said, look, our goal is to bring a regional here to Atlanta at McCamish Pavilion. We proved it, we deserve it, and we're going to back it up on the court and show everybody that we are one of the best teams in the country and that we're not going anywhere, that last year was not just a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, that game against Pittsburgh last week was incredible. We asked her, hey, did it feel any different being here in the other gym, in the bigger gym? And she said the cool thing was it kind of felt the same. The fans were on fire, they were loud. Really special environment. This is what college volleyball is all about.
Clemson looking for a response out of the timeout, and they get one.
Great slide behind by Ani Clark. McKenna Slavic doing a good job finding her, getting some rhythm early. She too is looking to establish that middle attack.
To the back row again, Bergmann. She's unstoppable right now. Julia Bergmann, 6 kills in this opening set.
Tell you, if you're gonna set Julia Bergmann, you're gonna want more than one blocker in front of her. Clemson's gonna need to be a little more aware of where she is at all times if Georgia Tech keeps setting her out of the back row.
Big hitting freshman, Mia McGrath. What a season she's having. You would never know she's a first-year player. Coming off a career-high 16 kills to the win against Virginia. She has adjusted to the speed of the college game so well, Courtney.
Yeah, it was fun hearing the staff talk about her competitiveness and her fire and her inner drive to just show up every day and compete. Some of their conversations early with her were, hey, don't be afraid to show that just because you're a freshman. We need this on our team. This is why we recruited you, and this is where we want the culture to go. And the team has really responded well to how she's showing up.
Beautifully executed. McKenna Slavic, the senior setter, goes to the middle. Colleen Finney. Take another look at this.
Slavic doing a nice job at keeping her hitters in rhythm early. That time Finney got a little under it. Sometimes you got to kill them with kindness, mix it up a little bit. Good range by her.
Slavic goes on to serve. Taylor keeps Clemson in it. That's long. That might have been the best point of the night for the Tigers. They're showing some grit, digging in despite being down by 10 early in this set.
Yeah, Devin Taylor, every time she digs the ball, I kind of chuckle. She's everywhere, making some great moves early.
They went right at Taylor that time, could not get there.
A jinxer there. Breland Morissette bringing the heat out of the middle. Both setters looking to get their middles involved early. Georgia Tech is in this, you know, when you've got one of the best players in the country, you want to use them and emphasize that and create a really good support staff around them. Wouldn't be surprised if they continue to mix it up tonight.
They go right back to Morissette, back-to-back points. Georgia Tech restores their 10-point advantage in this opening set. I'll tell you what, when you get this Yellow Jackets team in rhythm, they prove they're one of the best, not just in the ACC, but the nation.
Yeah, it's a force coming to the other side of the net. And just relentless from everywhere, you know, bringing a lot of heat, a lot of control. It's really a lot what we saw in serve and pass today.
Easier said than done, but how do you take this team out of their rhythm?
Oof, it's a great question. The challenge is that they're so strong at the pin that even if you knock them off the net, they're coming with some of their best attackers. But really, the game of volleyball comes down to serving and passing. If you win that battle, if you outperform the other team in those two skills, you're going to win about 88% of the matches here at the collegiate level.
Great block. Julia Bergmann, who's been terrific in this first set with 6 kills, denied on that attempt.
Finney and Hannah make a great read on that play. So much of blocking is eye work, and just seeing that inside set and getting over. Great discipline by them.
Georgia Tech, the immediate answer.
Otene, a big arm on the right side. A nice swing by number 9 for Georgia Tech. She is a really physical athlete and one of those pieces that has such a high upside that they're looking again for her to bring a little more consistently, get a few more kills a set for them to go where they want to go.
Confusion for Clemson leads to another Georgia Tech point. Otene again. Everybody getting involved in this opening set for Georgia Tech.
One of the challenges for Clemson, it feels like the game's starting to speed up and Georgia Tech is relentless on their side. They just got to slow things down, take it one play at a time.
Tigers
get back to good.
Already used both of their timeouts for this first set. Big response there, Colleen Finney.
Great run by Finney and Slavic. They're slowing that middle attack down to give her a little more time so she's able to see where the holes are in the block. Good read by her.
Excellent job by Cameron Hannah. Clemson stuck with that point. Hannah fires it home.
Really good discipline by Hannah. That's a tough ball on the opposite. When the dig is off the net, it's almost coming over your shoulder. So the discipline is the weight on those first 2 steps so that you can stay behind the ball and attack it high.
You get a lot of glimpses from Clemson. A lot of good points. They've just failed to string those points together in this first set. Georgia Tech now 3 points away from taking the first set.
I think it's one of the fun parts about the ACC this year is that every team has these moments of brilliance and the capability to do what they want to do. It's just who can do it for longer, who can be good over time.
Here's Nicole Drunick in to serve. Beautiful set and right on the money. Julia Bergmann strikes again.
Nicole Drunick coming in off the bench, keeping her hitters in rhythm. That is not an easy thing to do. Got to talk to her earlier today. She talked about how much fun she's having competing at this level and this culture, making a huge impact for this program.
Transfer from Nebraska, originally from Dallas, Texas. Hannah hammers it home. Cameron Hannah, the best hitter for Clemson. We've seen it in this first set.
Great shot by her. Erin Moss, we talked about Georgia Tech playing a complete game. She came off, dug a tip. Couldn't quite get back in position to be disciplined on that block in time.
Hannah third in the ACC in kills. And the leader in the conference is Bergmann. So two of the top three in our matchup tonight. Now Georgia Tech moves to set point, and Julia Bergmann is on serve. Georgia Tech takes the opening set in convincing fashion, 25-13.
If you're the coaching staff for Georgia Tech, this is exactly what you were hoping to see. Them coming out relentless, responding after a tough loss the other night at home. Easy to see why they're one of the best teams in the country.
Football game Saturday on ACC Network. Join the Huddle crew at 3 Eastern time. They'll get you set for a top 20 battle. NC State at Syracuse, and then do a post-game show after the game. And Duke. It's all happening this Saturday on ACC Network. Courtney Thompson, Jay Alter with you. Georgia Tech took the opening set against Clemson. You know, speaking with this Tigers program, Colleen Finney, such a standout in what it means to be a student athlete. We talk a lot about the athlete part in our games, but she embodies what it is to be a student athlete at Clemson in the ACC. What a summer Colleen Finney had. She was all over the map in Chicago in June, and then over to intern for the NBA in Las Vegas during the Summer League. The coaching staff couldn't say enough about Colleen Finney. They said she wants to go on to law school, just an incredible hard worker in the classroom, on the court, and during the summer even, with spectacular experiences and internships.
I have so much respect for anyone really pushing the boundaries of what's possible in all these arenas and doing it all at such a high level. No doubt has a huge impact on her team day to day.
And maybe most importantly, the coaching staff of Clemson shared that she's a mini coach for these 7 true freshmen. This is a really young Tigers team, and they said all the young freshmen look to Colleen Finney as their guide, both in practice and in games.
It's so special to have that kind of student athlete and just really that person on campus, and there's such a ripple effect. You know, you think of all the lives that she will impact just being herself in all these arenas. It's pretty special.
In the opening set, Georgia Tech jumped out to an early 10-point advantage and took it the whole way home, 25-13 win. How does Clemson get back into this game, play better in this second set, Courtney?
I think for Clemson, they got to stabilize their passing a little bit so they're able to keep their middles involved, keep their opposite and Cameron Hannah involved. She got a lot of swings, and then from this defensively, they got to serve a little tougher. Get Georgia Tech off the net.
Question coming in is, how would the Yellow Jackets respond after losing to Pittsburgh at home on Sunday? A really tough top 10 matchup in the ACC, and early indication is they have responded brilliantly, shrugged it right off, bounced back, and playing excellent volleyball tonight.
And I'm not surprised when you got a coach like Michele Collier, who's really just embodying all these things of, hey, we're on this path of growth, and in order to do that to our full potential, it's going to be rough. We're going to have misses. We're going to make mistakes and lose. It's all part of the process. I think a lot of coaches say that, but it's a whole different one to really embrace when you're facing a loss.
It's funny, we asked Coach Collier, what is the secret sauce to this team? What makes them so good? What makes them a top 10 team in the country? And she said, Brazilian background, it's like watching a really excellent executed dance. There's just such a great rhythm to it. Everybody's just getting everything exactly right when it's working well. Now, she wants to see more of that, but when they're at their best, it's like watching a really well-executed tango.
Yeah, and I think part of that is that they're recruiting athletes that love the game of volleyball and that want to watch a higher level. They're involved with the international game. They study the game. They love the game, and you can tell when they're training. We felt it today. You're seeing it right now. They play with such an energy and a passion.
And it's so tough to coach rhythm and flow, right?
Yes.
And yet, Georgia Tech does it masterfully.
Yeah, it's really about creating an environment where it kind of happens naturally, and coming from this place of loving the game. You can't really think your way into flow.
Yeah, but she said that's just a really big difference from how they teach it in Brazil, which is her background, and how they teach it in this country, and that was a really fascinating conversation.
Yeah, I was fortunate to get to compete in Brazil for a year in Rio. And that is one of the things that stands out, is that how common it is to see the game at a high level. And now women's volleyball in the U.S. being the most popular sport. We're seeing it more on ESPN, ACC Network. Will be really exciting to see where the game grows from here.
And you faced Brazil in the 2012 London Olympics in the gold medal match. Assistant coach Claudio Pinheiro was part of that staff.
We had a good laugh today.
He came right up to you to remind you what happened in that game in 2012.
Yeah, I introduced myself. He's like, oh, I know, remember. And then I go, I don't remember that game. I don't really, let's not talk specifics here. But they were an incredible team, and how fun that we got to compete in that arena. And now here we are tonight. And volleyball's a pretty small community.
Georgia Tech has challenged the last point. You're getting an insight to Claudio Pinheiro and that huddle. Volleyball, an incredibly small world, so it's not uncharacteristic that you would run into somebody that you saw 10 years ago battled against in an Olympic Games.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best parts of our sport. It's growing, and yet it still feels like this nice community that's supportive, and everyone's fired up just to be in the arena together.
So did Clemson get a touch? This is what the officials are over at the monitor reviewing right now. Tough to tell. What do you think, Courtney? This might be a better angle. Does the ball change trajectory?
I think I'm going to call it touch. I think I see a finger moving. Yeah, I think that index finger moved back. What do you think?
So tough to tell. The ruling on the court was no touch, but I think you're right, Courtney. I think there was a touch. Let's get the call. Yep.
How great is
Successful
this challenge system? It's efficient. It's gotten faster in the last few years, and some big changes in how the game is called at this point.
So the Yellow Jackets stay on serve. This is eerily similar to the first set when they jumped down to that 9-2 advantage. Breland Morissette. Unsettled play. Great opportunity for Clemson.
Julia Bergmann.
Both sides working hard. D'Amico keeping her hitters in a little more rhythm there for Georgia Tech.
Timeout Clemson. There's nothing they can do. It is all Georgia Tech on a Wednesday night in Atlanta. 7 ACC loaded doubleheader right here on the ACC network. It starts at 3:30 Eastern. Top 20 matchup between Syracuse at NC State, and then ACC network prime time, North Carolina and Duke. Courtney Thompson, Jay Alter with you. Elite Eight from a year ago. This Georgia Tech team really ascended to a new height, one that they haven't reached in a while. And with that just becomes added pressure, added responsibility when you have such a good run and then come in and you're preseason number 5. You have all these expectations for really the first time in a while for this program. And head coach Michelle Collier was telling us that it took a little while for this team to embrace all of that, but she feels like the early tests, the hard schedule, will serve them well for another deep NCAA tournament run.
Yeah, the thought of, hey, we should be this good, or if we're not this good, we're going to lose a ranking, it can really get in your way of taking chances and growing and learning. And so much of the success for this team, I think, is determined by, can they keep learning the compass every single day, working towards what's possible for them, rather than think, man, I got to be good tonight. It's a really constricting thought to have.
On your collegiate career path, followed that a little bit. You come in as a true freshman, starting setter, not a lot of expectations, some growing pains, and then you make a couple of deep runs and those expectations come. It's a tough balancing act because you want the pressure, but it's tough to perform under the constant pressure.
Yeah. So indicative of life, right?
True, so true.
And I thought my most challenging year was my senior year, and you're fighting those thoughts of, I should be the best. We just won a national title. And this is why you see the best coaches in the country, like Michelle Collier, not only train the behaviors and the physical part of the game, but also, hey, how are we approaching this? How are we framing where we are as a team? And those thoughts and those thought patterns become really important.
You know, they lost their emotional leader from that team too, Mariana Brambila, and that's tough to replace. I mean, yeah, you can, two-time All-American, takes you to an Elite Eight, and then you're ranked preseason number 5 without her. All the expectations are still there, even though Brambila has moved on. And she said it's taken a while, 15 games into this season, and the team's still kind of searching for their identity without her on the court.
Yeah, that trap of comparison is so challenging. You know, hey, last year we did it this way, and even I think this is why success can be a little more challenging than overcoming failures, because you want to compare it to that season, and it just keeps you from being in the present moment. So a lot of their discussions have been, all right, this is new, we're new, who are we now, and where do we want to go?
And Brambila and Bergmann, who the senior Bergmann has just moved on to serve with an 11-4 lead. They were such a dynamic duo, 1-2 punch. Bergmann has stayed and even added to the impressive stats she had as an All-American a year ago. But they're waiting for kind of that reliable number 2. Maybe it's Erin Moss who registers the kill there. She's been really strong tonight, number 23 in pink.
Yeah, and they've been looking, D'Amico's been looking to get her the ball more and more throughout the season. And they do need balance from all over. And one of the things the staff talked a lot about was, hey, we have some great pieces. Can we just be a little more consistent? I've said that a lot tonight, but there's no magic in becoming great. It's, can you bring that intensity and that level of engagement day in and day out?
Clemson looking to string points together after they lost the first set 25-13. Similar struggles in this second set.
Those are the plays that are tough for Clemson to give up. They're not going to get many off-speed shots from Georgia Tech, who's rolling right now. And these are the ones you just want to take advantage of, create an opportunity for your team.
From the back row, did just enough to execute. Kate Long, who's been quiet, the junior out of Clearwater, Florida.
Respect the fact that she went for that ball. Sometimes you're out of rhythm. She didn't get a great approach for that. It's easy to send a free ball, but what you see from great athletes such as Kate Long is they're going to go for it. Try to put as much pressure on the opponent as possible.
Miscommunication there leads to another Georgia Tech point. Courtney, I don't know how you feel, but it just seems like Georgia Tech came out in a flow, in a rhythm from the first point, and Clemson, here we are midway through the second set, they're still searching for that flow, consistency, rhythm.
I'm with you. They feel a little reactive, and it's hard not to be when you got one of the best teams that just came out seemingly incredibly focused and on it. Fun volleyball to watch.
Jackie Simpson-Kerr uses her second timeout of the set. 2 sets in a row that she's burned these timeouts really early, clearly frustrated with how her team is fared tonight so far. And when you're going against the leader in kills in the ACC per set in Julia Bergmann, it's easy to be frustrated. Look, she's got as many kills as Clemson does as an entire team tonight.
Wow. That's a good stat right there. Part of the challenge for Clemson is just really getting clear, hey, what's within our control, what's not. Georgia Tech is hitting on all cylinders. Can we just weather the storm, get back to doing what we do, and try to establish their serve and establish some sense of an offense, keeping that rhythm.
What an atmosphere on a Wednesday night in Atlanta. O'Keefe Gymnasium rocking, and why wouldn't you? This is a team that, again, under Michelle Collier, has just elevated. They've raised the bar year in and year out. They get to the Elite Eight a year ago. And it helps when you have such support at your back. Here at home. They're 7-2 at home this season, 4-2 in the ACC. Collier, a big reason why. When she came in, this program was teetering right around the 150 mark, top 150, 149, I think she told us. And now they were just in the top 10, and I expect them to get back there. It's so hard to do.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by the work she's done and really the culture she's created. And it's easy to see why when you talk to her. She's so grounded and authentic and real and really clear on what she's all about and what she hopes for this program. And it creates a really cool culture for these young athletes to step into.
Aggressive at the net. Tomorrow it's Tene. She's had a really strong game. 8 kills to her name, and it's a 5-0 Yellow Jackets run. Oh, Tene got all of it, denied by Devin Taylor. This is clinical. Breland Morissette hammers that one home. This is just business-like from Georgia Tech.
Weapons from all over. She's got 4 hands, 2 blockers in front of her, and she's able to go wrist away, pointing that thumb towards the floor where there's space. Just bringing the heat.
Well, we said at the top of the show, Georgia Tech came in the clear favorites in this game. I did not think it would be this lopsided, though. Clemson's coming off a really good win against Virginia over the weekend.
Well, they're playing really clean volleyball. Clemson got on their heels a bit early, understandably so.
What a get! Are you kidding me? Clemson wins the point, but give credit to Paola Pimentel to keep this point alive.
You call this a pancake. Just gets under there with anything she has. It's a game of inches. Great effort on both sides. That's the thing you love about both teams right now is they're up by a lot or they're down by a lot. And they're just competing hard one play at a time. One of the things that Clemson has to their advantage is they run a fast offense, but their passing hasn't been there, so they're not able to utilize the speed they normally would.
That's long and no touch, so Georgia Tech earns the point.
Jackie Simpson thinking about calling that challenge, decides not to.
Right into the block.
Wow.
Julia Bergmann doing it all.
This is so much savvy and so much eye work. You see, she's the left front blocker, Julia Bergmann, and sees that play develop, reads McKenna Slavic really well, and gets in there right in front of that hitter. This is the sense of volleyball that I was talking about that makes her such a special athlete. Clemson mixing it up. Colleen Finney on the outside. Typically a middle, getting a swing from another position. One of the things that sets McKenna Slavic apart is how creative she is. She's willing to take some risks and mix it up when it's not working. That time to their advantage.
That's been working all night long. They've gone middle to Morissette. It has paid off. 5 kills to her name.
They're passing so well. Isabel D'Amico is able to mix it up. Keep all her hitters involved.
Snuck in on the line for Clemson.
Kate Long bringing it on this swing. You can tell she might be a little frustrated with the score and does everything she can to put a little extra heat on that.
Tomorrow, Tene continues a really strong showing tonight. Just a really well-balanced Georgia Tech attack.
Yeah, their passing has been there, so they're able to mix up their offense, exactly what they're hoping to see, and they're going to need moving forward if they want to make a run deep in this NCAA tournament.
To the middle, Aaron Moss tried to take that set.
I don't know if it's because I was a setter. I thought that was a tight call, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do around here.
Makes up for it there. Aaron Moss moves Georgia Tech to set point.
Great swing by Moss, great set by Drenwick to get her involved. She stays off the net, hits from such a high position. She's got so much range, it's tough to stop.
Clemson stays alive and now serving to stay in the set.
Lonnie Clark saying it's not over yet. Let's go.
That goes long, and Georgia Tech takes set number 2, 25-12. They are rolling right now. First set, 25-13. Set number 2, 25-12. It's a runaway train in Atlanta, and Julia Bergmann is the conductor. 13 kills for the senior. The number 11 team in the country, making it look easy so far. Wednesday night in the ACC, an awesome atmosphere here in Atlanta. Courtney Thompson, Jay Alter with you. ACC PM with Mark Packer, Trey Boston, and Taylor Tannenbaum. They'll talk football and everything else, everything you need to know in the ACC weekdays, 4 Eastern time. They're going to talk a lot of volleyball the rest of the way. 3 ACC teams in the top 11 right now in the nation. 3 teams that all think they can make a shot at the regionals. And I'll tell you what, this Georgia Tech team's living up to it, Courtney. They have been so strong through 2 sets, really comfortable with this 2-0 lead.
They're hitting 483 after 2 sets, which is an uncanny number in volleyball. And just came out with so much intensity and focus, and 1 play at a time. This is exactly what you want to see again after a tough defeat at home the other day versus Pitt. So much of volleyball is how you respond in the moment and throughout a season.
You got Georgia Tech at 48% hit percentage. Clemson struggling at just over 11%. And everybody says Julia Bergmann, and rightly so. She leads the way with 13 kills, but who else has impressed you for Georgia Tech tonight?
Yeah, I think Aaron Moss is one that they're looking to get more and more involved in. D'Amico's doing a great job of getting her the ball early, and it's a function of passing, really. She's a physical athlete. She stays off the net, she stays behind the ball, and has really great range. So if Georgia Tech wants to make that deep run, they're gonna need to continue getting their middles involved.
And it helps when all the attention is on the reigning ACC Player of the Year, the leader in ACC in kills per set.
She really is. I keep just grinning up here watching. She makes all of these really tough plays look so easy. She does it from the back row, the front row. She steps in and sets really eloquently.
Will we see her play in an Olympic Games one day?
Oh, yeah.
For Brazil?
Oh, yeah. She's a 6 rotation outside hitter, the kind of athlete that just does all the little things well. If you followed USA Volleyball, the team that just won a gold medal, Jordan Larson comes to mind, another one of the best outside hitters, if not the best outside hitter in the world. And they're just able to take care of all these little things that don't show up in the stats as well as all the big stats.
You see that divide starting to create in the ACC as you take a look at the standings. I think Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh, and Louisville have separated themselves in the ACC. They did it a year ago, all making the Elite Eight. Now, you know, speaking with head coach Michelle Collier, she said they feel like all 3 of those teams, you wouldn't be surprised if they make a run and win their regional this year, depending where they're placed, obviously. But you're seeing that divide kind of live out over the course of the match today.
Yeah.
Clemson giving it everything they can. They just haven't been able to stay close with this Georgia Tech team.
Yeah, they're trying some new stuff. They're trying to mix it around, but it's not easy when you've got so many weapons on the other side and so much discipline, really.
Only 4 total errors for Georgia Tech through 2 sets.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow. That's not easy if you're playing against kindergartners.
Right.
That's a really low number. I mean, if you're hitting 483, that is.
They just don't beat themselves.
Yeah. Taking care of what they can control, something Coach Michelle Collier talked a lot about today. And again, it's always a fine balance when you're down, when you're losing pretty badly, of not trying to do too much, but also having this sense of urgency day to day. Hopefully this will be something that Clemson can grow from either way.
Georgia Tech, the immediate answer like they've done all night. I can't remember a time where Clemson scored 3 points in a row tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's really tough to win a volleyball match that way.
Yeah. Or too many clean side outs. We call it FBSO, a first ball side out, which means right off the serve, can you pass that hit for a kill? That's tough to do against the Georgia Tech team. Hey!
Right on cue!
There you go!
First ball side out, maybe for the first time tonight for Clemson. That is a classic broadcaster
yes,
jinx, by
noted.
the way, Courtney.
Kate Long out of the back row. Great set by McKenna Slavic, creating space for her attacker with one block. That's what Clemson's going to have to keep doing. I should keep saying it. Maybe this will keep working.
And back-to-back points for what feels like the first time all night long. McKenna Slavic, she's an excellent player, leader of this team, the senior setter who's on serve right now. Just haven't seen what makes her so good, because you said the sloppy passing, so can't get the setting game going. Now she's on serve. Maybe this is where the Tigers play their best volleyball of the night.
Yeah, they hope to see it. McKenna Slavic is a really great setter. She's creative, she's dynamic. She's one of the things I love about her, she's not afraid to take chances and mix it up. High risk, sometimes that works out, sometimes not so much, but she's going for it.
Second in the ACC in assists per set, averaging more than 10.
Coaching staff talked that she got sick a little bit earlier in the season, and the team really realized, man, she brings so much. Stabilizing competitiveness, and is such a key for this team. One of those athletes that is just a leader and the team responds really well to.
And they've found their rhythm through Slavic. 3 straight points for Clemson. Finally, great passing leads to great sets. Imagine that. And Clemson showing that they are down 2 sets, but battling in this third. They've started playing their best volleyball of the night.
When you're in that attack mode, when you start scoring points off of your serve, you know you're really rolling as a team.
Right back to Erin Moss, who we just highlighted, the senior out of Valdosta, Georgia. So tough to contain in the middle.
Well, so far tonight, Clemson is leaving their middles from Georgia Tech one-on-one, and there's a lot of space to attack there.
That sailed long, inches away.
Mia McGrath going for high hands. One of the challenges in outside hitters, you're always looking to go off the block, use the edges. Good intent by her, just misses a little high.
Kept alive twice. Hits the net. Beautifully done. Right on the money for Georgia Tech to not just keep it alive, but win it.
Erin Moss has brought so much heat tonight. She decides to mix it up a little bit. And Clemson can't quite see it early enough. Nice range by her.
Clemson should have won that point 3 or 4 separate times, and instead Georgia Tech comes up with it. Although they give her right back on a service error. Moss went for the tip again. It fell to Bergmann, who hammers it home. Kill number 14 of the night.
So much court awareness enforced by her. Gets a little bit of a hang up here on that second ball, and that's what I mean by feel for the game. It's a second touch. She didn't freak out. She saw it. She saw the block wasn't quite developed and said, I know what to do here.
I know she's an All-American. I know she's leading the ACC in kills per set right now. But how does she generate so much power from a standing position? That's what I want to know.
Me too. If I had figured that out, it would have been real helpful. I mean, mechanics, efficiency, some gifts along the way. She's a special athlete.
Now on serve. It's an ace. Second ace of the night to go along with 14 kills for Julia Bergmann. Read well by Clemson. To Moss! Aaron Moss!
Wow. Moss so effective behind the setter and in front. What makes it tough to stop a middle attack is that it happens so fast. Is that it's a little harder to respond.
Timeout Clemson. Georgia Tech continues to dominate in this conference clash. ACC Network Sunday best. Join us for a terrific volleyball doubleheader. Virginia Tech take it on Notre Dame at 1, followed up by Syracuse with North Carolina at 3 Eastern time. Both games right here on the ACC Network. Joined by national champion Courtney Thompson. I'm Jay Alter. Georgia Tech has looked so good from the jump. Won the first set 25-13, took the second 25-12. Courtney, this team is just in rhythm, doing everything right tonight.
Yeah. For them to get where they want to go, it's can we put in the work one day at a time, regardless of where we're playing, who we're playing, what time we're playing, and they're doing that tonight.
On Sunday, they hosted Pittsburgh in what was a critical top 10 matchup. Two of the top teams after Louisville in the ACC. They lost 3-1, knocked them outside of the top 10. They fell to 11, and the big question was how would they respond tonight just 3 days later? And Courtney, they've been brilliant.
They look hungry to get better, to show what they're made of, and they've been so balanced tonight. Obviously an emphasis on Bergmann, as there always will be, but all these hitters are showing up, taking great swings.
And you said to me during serve and pass, you just noticed an intensity that there's not going to be any hangover from that loss. They are back dialed in.
I was blown away. You know, part of the fun part of this job is that we get to go hang around these athletes and the staffs and see how they train. And they came in and it was an intense serve and pass. They were playing, they were feeling the game, they were talking, they were engaged. It just seemed fun. I thought you were going to bust out your knee pads, Jay.
I wanted to. Great dig. Bergmann delivers. Julia Bergmann right on the money again.
It's so tough to stop when you've got 3 hitters coming at you, 2 at the pin, 1 in the middle, and then 1 flying out of the back row who happens to be one of the best in the country. Isabella D'Amico running a great offense tonight.
It was a contrast watching the intensity of the serve and pass from Georgia Tech, and then right after, down below the gymnasium, you got Coach Collier working on an 1,000-piece puzzle. And she said that would be the 8th she's completed this year. Just a calm force. And there's something beautiful and poetic almost about one of the best coaches in the ACC and in the country putting together a puzzle, because that's coaching, right? It's finding the perfect puzzle piece, making it all match. And she's certainly done that on the volleyball court with this Georgia Tech team. This puzzle's really starting to take shape for this program. Caught the line. That's the type of night it's been for Georgia Tech. Otene, perfectly placed.
Now she and her team had, what, 5 puzzles framed down there that they had done?
Yeah, 5 framed and a couple more waiting for frames.
No joke.
Yeah, these are 1,000-piece puzzles. I mean, I joked with her. I go, is it because it's a rainy day in Atlanta puzzle? She goes, no, it's just been my calming, you know. Can't be volleyball 24/7. And again, I'll make the analogy because I just think it fits for a coach. It's one thing to do a puzzle, but she's put together the puzzle of this program so well and continues to build, continues to find perfect pieces in recruiting to complement each other. Breland Morissette, one of those pieces.
So true. It's cool to be around a culture too where it just feels good to be in. And they invited us down there, and the athletes are around, hanging out, laughing, relaxing, and then they get up here and they switch it on. And to me, that's the sign of a good culture. It just feels good to be around.
Every coach across every sport uses that word, culture. It's easy to say, another thing to have happen and take shape.
Yeah, it's gonna happen one way or the other. And it's a lot better off if you're intentional about it. And to me, it's about relationships, you know? And can you invest in relationships and have a language to be able to support each other when things get tough? And Georgia Tech is doing that tonight.
Clemson not going down without a fight in this third set. They've clawed back within 4. Great serve from Long. Kate Long stringing it together, the junior. This is a program in the infancy of that culture building in year number 2 for head coach Jackie Simpson-Kerr. And they're showing something right here, battling on the road in this third set against the number 11 team in the nation.
No small task. It's a lot easier to. Woo.
Morissette again. Hammers it home. The middles have been unstoppable for the Yellow Jackets
wow,
tonight.
I got distracted mid-stock because of that hit. My goodness. There's a lot of space, but look at this. She's off the net. She's high. We call that a big window as a setter. When you see your middle, her left arm's up, it's just there's so much space to set that ball where she can go attack it. That was a heck of a hit. But I love this. Clemson not throwing the cards in. They're just fighting right now, one play at a time. This is what it's about. You're trying to turn a program. You're playing. It's such an opportunity to play a number 11 team in the country. Hey, how good can we be right now? Can we squeeze out? How can we squeeze the most out of this opportunity? And they're doing it right now.
That's long from Julia Bergmann, a rare error from the big hitting senior. Clemson back within 2. I love this fight from the Tigers right now.
One reason the ACC is so fun this year is that any team has the capability to make a run like this.
Awkward set. Clemson couldn't capitalize on it. They went through the freshman Mia McGrath. Awkward timing there on the hit.
Yeah, McGrath got a little under that. Gotta love her competitiveness though, going for it in a tough situation. And Georgia Tech, they're a little bit more out of rhythm than they have been all night. It's about, hey, can we just get back to good right now?
Instant response from Clemson. McGrath atones for the previous error with that big kill. Those are momentum killers.
Yeah, those are tough. You can tell Clemson's really trying to serve tough right now, like turn it up, dial it up, bring in the heat. Kate Long had a nice run. But you're right, you want to just be good and give your team chances and opportunities to score some points. Woo!
Big swing, hammered home by Colleen Finney.
Colleen Finney, such an emotional leader of this team, and she finds herself in rhythm and bringing some heat on this slide approach behind the setter. 5 kills tonight, hitting 385, so if Clemson continues to pass and dig well, they're gonna look to get her the ball more.
Big block 2, Finney there again. Back-to-back points for the junior.
Okay, Clemson, we see you. We see you staying in this, making a run.
Timeout, Georgia Tech. First time out the Yellow Jackets have had to take tonight. This is the best set by far for Clemson so far. They are battling in this third set as we remind you this Saturday, doubleheader right here on the ACC Network. top 20 matchup. NC State and Syracuse, the undefeated Orange, trying to keep it going against a very talented Wolfpack team. And then the primetime matchup, rivalry game, North Carolina taking on Duke. Courtney Thompson, Jay Alter with you. Georgia Tech, convincing, comfortable wins in the opening 2 sets, 25-13 and 25-12 respectively. Clemson playing on the road, number 11 team, could have packed it in, said let's just get back, lick our wounds. No, instead they have doubled down on themselves. They are playing excellent volleyball. Best set by far to get to 16 points. Now can they get over the hump and steal a set against Georgia Tech?
Yeah, they got to keep their focus one play at a time. I think this is the experience that you need when you're trying to take it to that next tier, that next level as a culture, as a team, and can they bring that level of intensity throughout the rest of this set and into whatever is to follow. Been so impressed by Mia McGrath tonight, the freshman. The coach talked about her competitive nature and what she brings to this team, and she's showing it right now.
McGrath from the back row, inches away.
That set got a little behind her. To run a back row attack, you've got to jump from behind the 10-foot line, but it's a lot easier when you're moving forward. That time her momentum takes them backwards and misses long.
A great rally. If that just sneaks in, ties it at 17. Instead, Georgia Tech moves on to serve, leading by 2.
It happens fast in this game.
Tight set, led to what they thought was an easy block. Clemson keeps it alive. Aaron Moss finishes it for Georgia Tech.
Nice job by Georgia Tech staying in that rally. They wanted it to be down, and instead get a free ball back and take advantage to the play that's been working all night. Aaron Moss behind the setter.
Timeout Clemson. Final timeout in this third set for Jackie Simpson-Kerr.
Jay, in all the thousands of matches and games that you've called across many sports, what have you seen from teams that are kind of hanging around the 10 to 15 that want to make a push to win a national title?
That's a great question, Courtney. Usually it's the play-by-play asking the analysts.
I'm so curious. You've been around so many high-level sports.
I think you need to have a supporting cast start to step up and get hot at the right time. Yes, you need a superstar like a Julia Bergmann, but if Georgia Tech's going to take the next step and win a national championship, I think you need a strong supporting cast around Bergmann. We've seen that tonight. Aaron Moss has been terrific. Tomorrow, Tene's been great. It's just, when it matters, in those important matches, can your supporting cast step up and give a boost? Can your supporting cast play like stars just for a couple of weeks when it matters?
Could not agree more.
You've won a national championship, so I should be asking you, what was the secret sauce for that team?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a balance with an emphasis.
Well, that would be the first time I'm right ever.
Yeah, right. From the starting 6, and then I also think, what we saw today in training is the bench players, who we would call game changers. Can they bring it every day in training? And if practice is tough enough, you're in this competitive environment, then you get to a game and you're like, that little head nod, that grin of like, oh yeah, we've done this before. It gets really fun.
Bergmann on serve. Clemson out of the timeout. Into the net. Point Georgia Tech. It's a Tigers team that in the third set, their hit percentage is 240% higher. So 240% higher. You think that's pretty good.
That's a
the
big
problem
jump.
is they were at 6% in set number 2. So for the match, they're still at 15%. It's tough to win volleyball matches when your hit percentage is 15%.
Yeah, it really is.
Big kill there, though, from Kate Long.
Great swing, Kate Long off the net, a little bit out of rhythm, does a good job of waiting early, staying behind this ball, and then hitting that deep corner. It's exactly what you want to do as an outside hitter. Young outside hitters, take note. That's how it's done. But Clemson, they started passing a little better, and they're in more rhythm. Slavic is getting her hitters some good opportunities.
Great pancake to keep it alive. They go to the middle.
Wow.
It's been so effective. Erin Moss again.
Erin Moss is so available, so open. Great range by her. She's been hitting wrist away a lot of the night. That time has a little more space, what we would call cross body, as she swings to her left. I'm really impressed with Isabella D'Amico, keeping her hitters in rhythm on the net, off the net, and really mixing up this offense, as you said, Jay. That's going to be key for them if they want to make a run. Wow.
Great dig. Pimentel kept it alive. Yellow Jackets closing in on a straight sets victory.
Oh, this is ACC volleyball at its finest. Big swings from both sides of the net. Ultimately, it goes to Julia Bergmann, as it has so much tonight and the rest of the season.
Paolo Pimentel, though.
Whew.
Bergmann never would have had that chance without a spectacular dig, and now the senior out of Brazil on to serve. That time could not come up with the dig. Way too much on it from Cameron Hanna.
What a swing. Pimentel almost got on that, a little bit too fast for that one. Clemson showing signs of greatness. It's a matter of being able to sustain that a little bit longer.
The Tigers may not come all the way back to win this match or even win this set, but you've learned a lot about this Clemson Tigers team, the way they've battled on the road against the number 11 team in the country in this third set.
And you get the sense that all these hitters want the ball right now. They're heating up, they're swinging harder, they're fighting for finding that space. That's a good feeling as a coach. You want those kind of athletes on the floor.
An error on the serve from Mia McGrath. McGrath makes up for it there, though.
One of the challenges when you're trying to pivot a team and shift kind of what's the norm and what's the standard is athletes that have been in a losing program for a long time. And Coach Jackie Simpson-Kerr talked about, hey, we want winners, we want people that are hungry, and they're showing that right now.
Michelle Collier uses her second and final timeout as Clemson strings together a couple of points to get back within 2. So it's Tigers still on serve, trying to stay alive in this match. Georgia Tech just 2 points away from a straight sets victory. They'd improved to 12-4 overall and 5-2 in ACC play. And these are the situations you practice for every single day. At the end of a set, these critical points.
How fun is this?
Big hit from the freshman McGrath. Tight set at the net. Tipped over, kept alive. This is a great rally. Rally of the night. Who's gonna win it? Georgia Tech does. And now it's set point and match point for the Yellow Jackets.
Oh, tough way to end a play that everyone's working so hard on. Such good volleyball. Looks like Coach Jackie Simpson-Kerr considering challenging something. It's a long rally, so you got to be really specific on which part of the rally you want to challenge.
The officials are going to have a discussion. Well, it doesn't hurt to use a challenge at this point.
At this point, yeah, why not?
You've got two. It's match point.
Yeah, whatever it takes. Throw the flag. There we go.
I just wonder what is being challenged.
Yeah, something to do with off of the back row attack. I'm not sure what it was.
Trying to get clarification from the officials who are over at the monitor right now reviewing.
I can't tell from that what they're looking for.
And I've got no even guess what it could be.
Yeah, I hate to admit that I don't either.
And Georgia Tech's very confused over in their huddle.
Oh, here we go. We've got a setter. She's trying to save this ball.
In the net?
It. So they're trying to see if the middle blocker from Clemson touched the ball. That would have been a back row attack, but she did not. So as a back row setter, you can't go over the plane of the net. You can't be above the net and send it over if you're a back row setter. So if the blocker had touched it, that would have been Clemson's point.
Call is confirmed. Match point for Georgia Tech. And the Yellow Jackets take it in straight sets.
And who better to finish it than the one and only Julia Bergmann, out of transition, working hard for her team, showing off her range. What a way for Georgia Tech to respond tonight after a tough loss at home the other day versus Pittsburgh.
Bergmann's 18th kill of the match is a match winner as the Yellow Jackets tested in that third set, but overall, comfortable straight sets victory as they bounce back from the loss to Pitt over the weekend. For our terrific ACC Network crew, Courtney Thompson, I'm Jay Alder saying so long from Atlanta.